Welcome to BamfordRose and another question of the week. This week is about breakdown cover, and is it worth taking it out for your Aston to give you peace of mind whilst you're out and about? As always, it really helps us if you can subscribe to our channel and click the like button and give your comments to this subject. Now, this doesn't really apply specifically to Astons. It is equally as relevant to any other car, but with the Aston, it's a more precious car, and keeping the paintwork mint, keeping the interior unmarked, and just general care whilst you are the custodian of the car is arguably more critical in the Aston than other cars, so this matter does become a bit more relevant for ownership of an Aston. So is breakdown cover really worth it? And this arose from a real problem that happened to a customer of ours this week. Obviously, if you break down, then you want your car recovered to BamfordRose, arguably the best place to fix your car's problem. But we're in the middle of the country, and if you were at either ends of the country, then that's quite a journey to get the car recovered to us. And if you left the car in the care of your breakdown cover provider, then the problem that this chap was introduced was that, and it's a typical one, was that it wasn't transported in one direct go from point of breakdown to us, and there were two trucks and a dumping of the car in a motorway services with a key hidden in that place where no one would ever think to look for a key, in a little plastic bag above one of the rear wheels. For anybody to take the car. So, this is not good. So, this practice is common. Now, let's just say you were a 3-hour journey away and you broke down in the car, rang up your breakdown company and said that you needed to come to a garage, your normal repair shop, but that's a 3-hour journey away. And if that trip goes outside of what the local or one man who's available to come out to you can do, often because he's on a tacho, and there's time constraints, distance constraints, then in their small print they will take the car away and then perhaps put it in a car park in a motorway services, give it to another driver to then take on to final destination. And you've certainly got no control over how long the car is going to be left on its own. And that swap over process, when you're leaving your broken down car, you can watch the chap put it on the truck, sign a piece of paper, know what condition of paint and interior is like. And then when it gets to the other end, whoever's receiving the car is going to check that the car is equal to that condition and sign for the car on receipt. And so the car's been cared for during that process. If it goes outside of that process and it's outside of your control, then that's where paint niggles, interior niggles, wheels, hitting the side of the ramps and damaging wheels, all of those sorts of issues can creep in. So this particular chap was with one of the most well-known breakdown recoveries companies. And because he wasn't going with the car, then in their eyes, in their terms and conditions, how they operate, then the car didn't need to go in one journey. If he was going with the car himself, then that would have gone in one journey. But typically he'd have been waiting, or you would be waiting a longer period of time for the recovery truck to arrive, because you'd be waiting for one that could take that 3-hour journey and still be within their tacho limits. So it's quite often that you'd break down, you'd phone up, they'd send a truck out that would come and assess your problem, and you'd have probably told them that it needed a total lift, it needed to be recovered back to a garage, but they'll come out anyway in a little wagon and they'll say, yes, you're right, and then you'll wait several hours for a truck to come and give you a total lift back to your final destination. So, is breakdown cover worth it? Well, it gives you some peace of mind that should anything happen, then at the end of a phone is someone that can react to you and help you. In the Aston, typically that's going to be because you've got a flat battery. Maybe it's because of a tyre issue, you've got a punch or something like that. There isn't a lot else that roadside assistance could do to the Aston, meaning that inevitably breakdown recovery really means a tow to a garage where you can drop the car off and get it repaired. That's because the sort of breakdowns that happen that need a tow is going to be clutch, slave cylinder related, tracker failure, maybe a water leak, ruptured radiator. So I don't think there's many times where roadside assistance is going to come and do a tweak to the car and you'll be on your way. I think if you ever need help, then you're going to need a complete recovery and you're going to want it taken to your garage of choice. So I often get phoned up where someone's broken down and they're going to recover the car to me. Now, if they haven't got breakdown recovery, you know, they ask us, okay, can you help out? Have you got a solution for this? And what I do in these circumstances is go on Google and look for breakdown recovery garages local to where they are, and then jot down a few numbers, do a ring round, and you know, if it's not the first call, second, third call, you're going to find a company that is very local to where the breakdown has occurred, can be there in literally 15 minutes, and then pick up the car and recover it back to us. Now, because breakdown recovery is going to charge per mile, if you select somewhere that's close to the garage or close to where the car is broken down, that total round trip is going to be the least possible. And a few months back I did this for a car that was in Bristol. You know, we're in Warwickshire, and I got the breakdown recovery chap in Bristol there within 15 minutes, and the car was recovered really quickly. And that costs me about £175. Now, you're going to be really unlucky to break down annually. You know, you're not really going to need breakdown total lift annually. So, you know, what's your average breakdown recovery premium? You know, obviously some policies offer more than others. You know, £40, £80, £100. Well, if you had to travel sort of a quarter of the length of the country and you pay £175 for that as and when you needed it, and you were guaranteed that your car wasn't going to be disturbed en route, it wasn't going to be dumped at a motorway services, then when you need breakdown recovery, it's often quite easy to pick up the phone to a recovery company local to you, organise that on the spot, and that's it, job done. Obviously it does give a lot of reassurance knowing that if you do break down, you've got a number there where somebody on the end of the phone can organise everything for you. And if you weren't internet savvy, you couldn't on the spot search Google, weren't comfortable doing a quick ring round of breakdown recoveries to get someone to you, then perhaps the option of breakdown recovery is the best. The trick is to go with the car, because going with the car to the final destination ensures that it will do it in one go and not a couple of trips, and that's what we're trying to avoid. Certainly if you're going across to Europe, then breakdown recovery is definitely advised. But again, there's a lot of small print to those policies, and I've broken down in Europe myself and I've needed European breakdown recovery. And my car, along with other customer cars that have come to us from Europe, have been stored in compounds at several points in the journey from Spain or the south of France up to Calais before going across the tunnel. But you know, you're in Europe and you've got to accept that that is going to happen. In a country where you might not speak the language, then certainly you would need the reassurance of someone on the end of the phone to help you immediately if you did incur a problem. If you do break down in this country and you're going to have to leave the car because for whatever reason you can't go with it, then just get your camera phone out, take a picture of each wheel, have a quick walk round whilst the video recorder is running, and that is going to be your proof of what the paintwork condition was in. And ultimately it's your choice, whichever you feel comfortable with. You know, if you want that reassurance that someone is on the end of the phone, then just organise your breakdown recovery and pay each annual premium. Or if you are going to say to yourself, well, you know, based on my previous driving career history, I'm going to need a breakdown recovery, once every 3 years. You know, what's an ad hoc, on the spot recovery fee going to be? And then you're guaranteed that the car is going to be transported with care. You know, you could choose to take that route. There's no right or wrong answer. There's just some care points and small print involved with certain policies, and because we all care for the Astons and want to make sure that they're treated with care across any journey that they make, then it's worth just bearing in mind some of those technicalities on some policies that might leave your car dumped in a motorway service station unattended during a swap over. Hope you found that question of the week helpful, and we'll see you on the next question of the week.